So part of it is that I get to welcome everyone. Hi! But part of it is that I get to introduce Judge Cordell. So is she here? Our MC? Okay, so... Oh, yes! All right, perfect. I love it. You put the call out and it gets answered, right? I love it. I love it. All right, everyone. So good morning, good afternoon. Welcome to the city of Mountain View. My name is Kamei. It's my honor and privilege to serve the city and all of you. Hopefully, some of you are Mountain View residents. And it's appropriate for today's event to be taking place in our city. That's because Mountain View, actually our goal in Mountain View is our commitment to be a community for all. And that means everyone. We focus on the needs of all of our residents, all genders, and I'm really proud to say that this year we've made a lot of strides in our community. We're committed to gender diversity, and we've prioritized race, equity, and inclusion efforts by creating a specific ad hoc committee on race, equity, and inclusion. So this is something we not just talk about, but we actually are about. In fact, 6 of our 7 current council members are women, and I did see a colleague out here. So if you're serving on the Mountain View City Council, please raise your hand to be recognized. I know I think Councilor Allison Hicks. Yes, we are a majority female council, getting things done. And our current city manager, Kimber McCarthy, who is basically the CEO of our city, is the first woman to lead our organization. So I think that deserves a round of applause. Being with all of you is such a personal thing for me today. I grew up going with my mother to women's marches, to the Democratic Convention, and that's actually, what led me to here today. Santa Clara County used to be the feminist capital of the world, and it's what's inspired me to serve my community, first on the Planning Commission and now on council. So thank you for being such an inspiring place to grow up and live in, and hopefully we'll do that for our next generation. And now it's my honor and privilege to introduce today's MC for our event, the Honorable LaDoris Cordell.
All right. Good afternoon, everyone. And okay,
a little bit more over there.
All right, here we go. Hold on a second. There we go. Thank you, and thank you for being here. The purpose of a rally is to bring like-minded people together to deliver a message to the community and to the world. And our message today is that we are not going to let any one individual, no local, state, or federal government mess with our reproductive rights. All right, so our terrific governor, Gavin Newsom, just signed into law important protections for reproductive rights. It is now a crime for a person, a business, or an association to knowingly and publicly post, display, disclose, or distribute personal information of a reproductive health services patient, provider, or assistant without that person's consent. It is now a crime for anyone within 100 feet of the entrance to or within a reproductive health services facility to intimidate a reproductive health services patient, provider, or assistant by videotaping, filming, photographing, or recording them. It is a crime for health insurers to require patients to notify their policy holders or the primary subscribers to get authorization in order to get abortions and other sensitive services. No more, no mas. Governor Newsom is a hero, should never have been a subject of a recall.
That's right.
And he is a hero along with the state legislators who voted for these laws. Our heroes are also the organizations who are sponsoring today's march and rally. They are Los Altos Mountain View National Women's Political Caucus, Together, let me read them all for you. Together We Can, the League of Women Voters, Mountain View Voices for Peace, Progressive Action, Peninsula Peace and Justice Center, Democratic Volunteer Center, Peninsula Democratic Coalition, League of Women Voters, and the American Association of University Women. Let's give them a shout out. All right, so an important feature of a rally are the speakers. Their job is to educate us, energize us, and most importantly, not bore us.
And be brief.
All right. So, first up is a person. Bear with me a second here.
Let the granny sing first.
All right. Before the first up, the grannies will do their thing.
We haven't sung since March 7th. We have not sung since March 7th, 2020. All right, and that's because, granted, you might want to wear your mask unless you're 6 feet distance. It's okay if people really can't hear you. Just, here we go. The yellow rose of Texas is drooping on the vine because the state of Texas is committing a great crime. That Texas ban says women are inferior by design. Texas needs to bring itself into the modern times. One more verse, here we go. There's a nasty law in Texas that has women in its sights. Again, it's time to stand up and fight for women's rights. We grannies here in Mountain View are fed up and we're mad. Get your laws off our bodies. That Texas ban is bad. Okay. Yeah, that's the best we can do. Haven't sung since March 2020. Here you go, LaDoris. She's got a great t-shirt on. Nevertheless, she persisted. All right. If my no Texas band carriers, including our intern from Los Altos High School, get hot and tired or worried about falling down, please do come down. We don't want anybody fading. Okay.
All right, granny.
All right, grannies. Let's hear it for the grannies. All right, so first up is a person who introduced and sponsored a law that made mail-in voting in California permanent. Please welcome our Assemblymember, Marc Berman.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Judge Cordell. Thank you to the Raging Grannies. Give it up again for the Raging Grannies. I learned a long time ago it's a bad idea to follow up the Raging Grannies, but I'm going to do my best. And I want to give a big thanks to Susan Almond, who's around here somewhere, who helped organize all of today's festivities. Let's give it up for Susan. So I just want to say thank you to everybody for coming out today. I was going around reading a lot of the signs that people have, homemade signs people have made. One resonated a lot with me. It said, "I can't believe I still have to protest this blank," and I'm not going to say what it is. And this one right here that says, "Women's votes are our superpower." As chair of the elections committee, that resonates with me, but we need to keep showing up. It's sad, it's a shame, but it's a fact. And it's something that we need to keep doing. I'm kind of ashamed to admit in this crowd, I was born in Texas. My mom said that her only goal for the 4 years we lived there was to make sure I didn't develop a Texas accent. And I think she succeeded. But what the Supreme Court did a couple of months ago, in the dead of night, in an unsigned opinion, refusing to overturn the Texas ban was shameful. And they did that in such a cowardly way because they thought we weren't paying attention. And that's what today is all about, and that's what tomorrow is going to be all about, and that's what every day after is going to be about, is making sure that they know full well that we're watching everything that they do. And that we're not going to rest, we're not going to stop until they protect. We won't go back. We won't go back in California, and we know we won't with a great Governor Newsom and a great legislature, but we need to bust our tails to make sure that we protect women's rights in other states across this country, because just like voting rights, women's rights are under attack. And they're looking to us. I was reading a story of a California doctor who's going to, I think it was Oklahoma, to provide abortions for Texas women. They're looking to us for help, but we also need to make sure that when it comes time to elections, that we do everything we can to help other states have the government that California has. So that's that. I want to hand it back off to Judge Cordell, but thank you everybody for coming out. We're not going to stop. We can't stop, because we need to make sure to protect women's rights in every community across this country. Not just Mountain View, not just Santa Clara County, not just California. Thank you.
Thank you, Marc. Every movement needs young people. Let's give a shout out to those young people holding that banner that says no Texas ban. Give them a shout out. Thank you. Thank you. There's nothing more important than community organizers and community leaders. Please welcome two of our community organizers and leaders, Meghan Fraley and Alex Nunez. Woo!
Hi everybody, we're going to lead some chants here. I think everyone knows the extreme abortion ban that passed in Texas is the most acute and urgent threat to legal abortion since Roe was decided half a century ago. The fight for abortion law is the fight for reproductive justice, and it is the fight for our right to control over our own bodies and access to life-saving health care and to exercise the right of bodily autonomy. So we're going to start with a chant. Those who would like to have choice over their body with a uterus, my body, my choice, and those who want to support those,
her body, her choice.
All right, so my body, my choice.
Her body, her choice.
My body, my choice.
Her body, her choice.
My body, my choice.
Her body, her choice.
This fight is a women's issue. And this fight is a transgender man's issue. It is a non-binary person's issue. It is the fight for people of any gender to have the right to choose what we want to do with our bodies. People of all genders can have abortions, and people of all genders should have safe and legal access to abortions. So join me with my body, my choice, his body, his choice. My body, my choice.
His body, his choice.
My body, my choice.
His body, his choice.
My body, my choice.
His body, his choice.
And finally, my body, my choice, their body, their choice. My body, my choice.
Their body, their choice.
My body, my choice.
Their body, their choice.
Body, my choice.
Their body, their choice.
This is Alex Nunez.
Thank you. You should not and do not have to have a uterus to care about respecting people's individual autonomy, abortion rights, and the right to choose what they do with their body. The great majority of Americans do support the right to abortions. The fight for abortion access and reproductive justice is a fight against systems of oppression that seek to prevent the most vulnerable people from having the freedom to make choices about their reproductive freedoms. This fight is for the power to determine what happens to their bodies, their lives, and for every trans man, every non-binary person, and anyone who may ever need an abortion to have the right to be able to do so. So everyone, please join me in this chant. Not the church, not the state, we must control our fate. Not the church, not the state, we must control our fate. Not the church, not the state, we must control our fate. not the church, not the state. We must control our fate.
All right, we have one more chant for you guys. And this kind of builds on the fact that bodily autonomy of women is also under attack via sexual abuse, sexual assault, and rape. No matter where you live, no matter where you are, this fight is at our doorstep. And the fight is at Santa Clara University, where just yesterday, over 500 students rallied for the school administration to address the pervasive sexual violence toward women and rapes that have been ignored, tolerated, or swept under the rug, and definitely has not been addressed in a meaningful way. So join us, let's do 5 rounds of hey, hey, ho, ho, sexual violence has got to go.
Hey, hey, ho, ho, sexual violence has got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho. Sexual violence has got to go, hey, hey, ho, ho. Sexual violence has got to go, hey, hey, ho, ho. Sexual violence has got to go, hey, hey, ho, ho. Sexual violence has got to go. The fight is our doorstep, at our doorstep here in California, and it is up to us to be a leader in fighting for abortion access and reproductive justice here in our communities and in our state.
So to close, it is time for a more radical vision of the future. We need something bigger than Roe. This morning at the rally in DC, the head of Planned Parenthood said it's our job to turn pain into purpose, to turn pain into promise, and to turn pain into power. If you want to take action and support the Santa Clara students, you can call the acting president, and I will give you her number, Lisa Kloppenberg, at 408-554-4100, and let her know you support the university students. It is time to be proactive and reinvigorate our efforts to fight for women and all people.
Once
again, the number. I have a request for the number. So if you have your phone ready, 408-554-4100, President Lisa Kloppenberg, and you can take action on behalf of women and their bodies today in our community.
All right. We have one more speaker, and then we're going to wrap this up. And he happens to be a state senator. Let's welcome Josh Becker.
Thank you. Thank you to all the organizers and Susan Allman, everybody who organized this event. This is unbelievable. This turnout is extraordinary. We're going to make our voices heard. You know, every once in a while, once in a generation, something happens that's so draconian, so heinous that we have to take action. And in the Trump administration, we called that Tuesday. You know? But this is one of those moments. And anyone who's not mobilized by what happened in Texas, it's our job to make sure that they do get mobilized. And what this is about, it's about the people in Texas, but also about the people in Mississippi, where there's one provider, the people in Missouri, where there's one provider, and also here in California. We do a lot of great work, where there's a lot of great access, but in the Central Valley, we still have issues. And in terms of affordability, we still have issues. So that's what really this is about. This is about affordability. This is about access, because wealthy people in these states will still be able to fly, hopefully, to some place where they can come here, where they can still get access. But it's going to be people who can't afford it that are going to be stuck. It's going to be people who can't afford it in those communities, or in Mississippi today, or in Missouri today. It's those people who are not going to have choices, who are not going to have options. And so we are here today rallying for all those people, rallying for the people in Texas, rallying for the people in Mississippi, rallying people for the people in Missouri, but also people in our own state, right? We have to double down and make sure in the Central Valley we have access, and not just access, affordability. Affordability. And I was proud to co-sponsor a bill by my colleague, amazing colleague, Senator Lena Gonzalez, who had a bill around this to make sure this is coverable by Medi-Cal and to increase the affordability. So that's really what I want to say. I just want to say, as the proud parent of a daughter, as one of your representatives here, just to say I'm just so grateful to see this incredible turnout, and it really heartens me. It really hardens me, and it shows that we're not going to sit back. We're not going to let this go. And not only that, not only is like we're going to react against it, but this is going to be the tidal wave that turns the tide. This is going to turn the tide. Thank you. Yeah. This wakes us all up. It turns the tide here. It's going to turn the tide in the battles at the national level, and it's going to be the thing that turns Texas blue. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Senator. All right. Now that we are energized, motivated, and united, what's next? What should we do now? The answer is in our history. In 1850, a decade before the Civil War, James Hamlet was arrested. He was a free black man living in Brooklyn with his wife and 3 children when he was taken into custody under the Fugitive Slave Act of 1850. That act not only directed federal marshals to seize black people simply on the claim that they were runaways, but imposed a $1,000 fine for anyone who refused to make an arrest. The law also mandated that private citizens must aid and assist in the arrest of the presumed runaway slaves. Additionally, anyone who knowingly and willfully obstructed or prevented anyone from arresting the fugitive faced not only a $1,000 fine, but 6 months in prison. James Hamlet was the very first victim of this horrible law. He had never been a slave, but that didn't matter. The word of a black man meant nothing. He was taken to Maryland, a slave state, from where Harriet Tubman and Frederick Douglass came, and he was put up for sale for $800, and that's $28,000 in today's money. James Hamlet was purchased, but not by whom you think. Turns out that his neighbors and friends in Brooklyn got together and raised the money to buy his freedom and return him to his home and family. His capture and subsequent community-sponsored emancipation became a rallying cry against the Fugitive Slave Act, inspiring others to ignore the law and to assist fugitives in their escapes to freedom. You know where I'm headed here, right? Yeah. Thereafter, Vermont enacted the habeas corpus law, establishing a judicial process to defend captured fugitives. Abolitionist Luther Lee, a white man, a Methodist pastor in Syracuse, defied the law by publicly stating, and I quote, "I never would obey it. I have assisted 30 slaves to escape to Canada during the last month." And he went on to say, "If the authorities want anything of me, my residence is at 39 Onondaga Street. They can take me and lock me up in the penitentiary on the Hill." That same year, the Wisconsin Supreme Court declared the Fugitive Slave Act unconstitutional, the only state to do so, even though 4 years later, the U.S. Supreme Court would overturn it. Local juries refused to convict defendants accused of violating the act. And of course, there was the fugitive Harriet Tubman, who, with her famous battle cry, 2 words, "We out," courageously defied the law as she led the enslaved to freedom in the North. Resistance to the Texas abortion ban law has already begun. 20 businesses and organizations have created relief funds to, quote, aid and abet women seeking abortion services outside of the state. Uber and Lyft will pay legal fees of their drivers who were sued under this Texas abortion ban law. They still need to unionize, but we'll go on. All right. And Dr. Alan Baird, the Texas physician, courageously defied the law by publicly revealing that he performed an abortion. So, what do we do now? We support brave physicians like Dr. Baird. We utilize legislation, litigation, economic boycotts, and with our dollars, support the nonprofits that are leading this fight. We, all of us, keep speaking out and standing up for the protection of reproductive rights. We resist, we persist, and we out.
Thank you, LaDoris. Does it take a judge to speak so well? Let's all take a lesson from LaDoris, and what a wonderful speaker. I want to introduce IdaRose. She's from Together We Will, Palo Alto Mountain View chapter. Facebook, Together We Will, Mountain View Palo Alto chapter. Susan, hi. Say hello to everyone.
Thank you, everybody, for coming. It's impressive what a couple of people can do.
Well, I was up all night, but that's okay. I have letters here that you can sign and get back to me. I'll send them to the Supreme Court. Or if you want to send it by email, there's also a link down there. The other way, because I didn't bring that many, the other way you can do it is info@raginggrannies.com. We'll give you all the information you need. We're going to post a lot of this stuff to our site later today, too. And Dr. Sophia Yen did not make it. She's speaking in
San Jose.
San Jose. She's a Los Altos resident, has long been spoken out for abortion rights. She's an OBGYN. We miss her, but here's a shout out to Dr. Sophia Yen. And I'll let IdaRose close up the program.
Well, it's really hard to follow all these amazing people, but thank you all for taking time out of your very busy days in the middle of a pandemic on top of everything else. And on a beautiful day like this, to come out and support each other, to support women, to support men, to support your community. Mountain View stands tall against any kind of oppression of any people, and I'm a very proud resident of this city. So thank you all. You have all charged me up for the fights ahead, and I hope you all feel the same. Have a wonderful afternoon and a wonderful rest of 2021.
Okay, and remember you can always write to us for another copy.